all can hear me. It's been a little minute since I've been live on this channel. Come on in. Let me know if you cannot hear me. Mic check, mic check. Good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. Good morning, good morning. I want to talk about some things on my ride into the office. Come on in. Hopefully my sound is okay. What's up? What's up? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I'm trying to listen, child, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Y'all know I be doing these disappearance acts. When y'all see I'm gone for like a minute, you like, thank you. Y'all just know that it's just too much. It's too much. It is too much. I've been trying to listen, I done cut the hair, child. It is too much. Like, what else do you do other than cut your hair during these times? What else is there to damn do? I'm just trying to survive like the next person. Come on in, like the video. I have a lot of opinions about the things that's been taking place in this world, just like the next person. But over the past month or so, which I can't even remember the last time I came on this channel to really talk politics. Um, but I've been trying to kind of take it all in, like the rest of you all, and it's a lot. It's like, where do we begin? Where do we begin? It's just like 1 minute the conversation is about the files, names being released, details of the files, and then the next we at war. And it's just like, wait a minute. It's in my Deborah Cox. How did we get here? Like, it's Deborah Cox all day. Like, what the I told y'all to cut my hair. Thank you. It is listen. Child, listen. So I'm just trying to understand something. So today I'm like, you know what? Let me do a temperature check with my people. Let me see how you all are feeling about what's been going on. Are you here? Just let me know. I can't really see the comments right now. When I get to my destination, I'll be able to see some of the comments. But I want to know, how are you feeling about this war? Because in the beginning, y'all, low key, like people weren't like considering it a war. So I'm like, if it's not a war, hell else is there another name? Like what else? What is it if it's not a war? Did y'all hear some people like arguing about whether or not we were at war or not? I'm like, player, like bombs over Baghdad being dropped. Y'all know, like, what was that? Outcast. Y'all. So I live in Atlanta. So bombs over Baghdad. I was like a hit song, like that, like child bombs over Baghdad. So if this ain't a war, I don't know what the freak a war is. So finally, everybody, I think the one with a little bit of education is like, I think, yeah, we at war. To me, this is a war. There are bombs dropped. There's people losing their lives, children, just from, it's like everybody is getting his work right now. Everybody is getting his work right now. And just because you in elementary school, it's like you're not exempt. That's what we're seeing. So Iran lost. Yeah, there was, I want to say it probably was maybe like two schools, y'all, that ended up getting hit since this war begun. I know the first school that got hit, I think it was like February 28th, and it was like 168 people, and a lot of them were children. I'm not quite sure as to, of the 168 people at this school, how many of them were children, but I believe it was an all girls school. So I seen like a press conference, and they asked Pete Hegseth, questions about, the kids being killed, at the school. And basically his energy was like, listen, I don't even want to talk about it. We investigating it. Like, it wasn't really any ownership over, like, the US being responsible for it. Um, so I'm like, okay. So then this morning, before in preparation of this live, I started kind of doing some research to learn more about that particular incident. So what I learned on Google as it pertains to the incident with the school getting blown up with 168 people, many of them being children, is that, child, it was the U.S. It was the U.S. They went to basically they had dated intelligence. So when you go to the internet and and do your research on, it brought up, it was one of those articles. I don't think I wrote down the article, but go to internet, go to the Google, and type in the school bombing in Iran. And it said that basically we had old, outdated intelligence. So apparently, when they went to fire, the intelligence that they had was that it was Iran's, like, one of their military sites or whatever, but it wasn't. It was a school. So it, it was not intentional for them to kill those people in that building. I guess we'll call them civilians. It wasn't intentional, but it happened. And they said that Israel, they know Israel wasn't responsible for it because Israel wasn't even anywhere in the vicinity when that happened. They was somewhere else, I guess, doing their thing, dropping bombs. So only the U.S. was kind of in that area. So that's how they know, um, the U.S. was at fault for um, dropping the missile, whatever, onto the school, which killed like 168 people that day. I believe that was February 28th. But it wasn't intentional. But here's the thing, like, even if it wasn't intentional, child, why are we over there? Do we need to be over there? What we doing? Like, why are we over there? Where is Netanyahu? Why, what they call it? Where is that man? Where is that man? I'm gonna need for him to come to the front of the congregation because he didn't got it on and popping. I don't know what type of debt President Trump has with this man for him to be going along with his shenanigans, but it's given that our government, President Trump, hands are tied, and he owe one to the Israelis. Like, he's in debt. Like, it's given because there's nothing else that makes sense for what we're seeing take place. It just there's no it's illogical. Let me just say that it's illogical because so many people, like Americans, we're in a state of confusion as to why are we over there fighting. Like, this is not our world, and people have not done anything to us. So should our soldiers be lives be put on the line to be sent over there for something that doesn't have anything to do with us? I've never been in the military. I have a young cousin, a family member she's probably in her second year. I don't know where she is because my aunt was like, listen, I talked to her, but she can't tell me where she is. So we just know she out there somewhere, but she can't communicate where she is. So how many people are in situations like this to where they have loved ones who are in the military and they don't really know their status? They don't know where they're located. Because I do know that's a thing. I knew early on with going into the military, a lot of times that people will leave and the loved ones, the parents don't know where their children went. But like I said, my cousin, like, I believe she's in like her second year. So why she can't communicate where she is, I don't know. But I will add that I do have a good friend. We have a family friend who's retired military. And so I caught up with my sister over the weekend, and she had talked with this friend. This is like a best friend of hers. And her friend was like, yo, like this, her friend just kind of broke down and became really emotional, and was just like, at any point I can get pulled back in. She retired from the army. She did like 20 years. So she's probably been retired going on, it might have just made a year. It's been no more than 2 years. But what she's been told, is that, hey, if we need to call you back in, we will. So if she were to get called back in, she wouldn't be boots on the ground. She would be, I guess, doing desk work, whatever you would call that. But they can call her back in. And because she's still kind of, I guess, even though you're retired military, you're kind of forever military, she's still getting all these communications regarding what's going on. And what she's saying is that it's worse than what's being reported in the media. Surprise, surprise. She was like, it's bad. They're reporting that it's what, 7 lives that has been taken from the start of the wars, just 7. I think over the weekend they did ceremonies and brought the bodies home and things like that. But she's saying it's more than that. It's like in the thousands, over 1,000. So I just want you just to know that a lot of times what we see, it's not the true picture of really what is. And hopefully at this point, is given that it's 2026, that we're very much aware of that. And it doesn't require a lot of convincing for you to understand that the powers that be can control what's put out there. They can control the narrative. So just from a logical standpoint, you all, and just hearing about all the bombings and the things that have taken place, the U.S. buildings that have been hit that's in other countries. Do you think that that's only 7 lives that has been taken? I'm just saying, y'all, I'm just throwing this out here. Y'all just marinate on it. Marinate on it. 7. You think it's just 7? I'm just saying. Go to the internet and just type in how many U.S. buildings have been bombed, and just start there. You can just start there, because it does sound a bit illogical for there to only have been 7 lives taken with everything that's been popping off. And we pretty much have military bases in just majority of the countries, especially like these places where the war's taking place. So again, my family friend who's retired military, who's still tapped in, she's still in the group chat. She's like, no, it's worse than, she couldn't go into details, but what she said was that it is worse than what it's been said it is. It's worse. And that we as Americans need to have a backup plan as to when ish get funky, where you and your family are going to go. So what she said is that she lives in a community, like her neighborhood is a bunch of military people. So like the people, like say on her street, they've gotten together and identified like a central location where they would go to meet when things go left. And I believe my sister mentioned that they have some type of underground space. So what she's saying is like really the safest place, because from what I'm hearing, the reason why Iran is quote unquote winning, they're underground. They're not on top of ground. They're underground. So that's why, that's where they're kind of getting this next level like protection. So what she's saying, a family friend who's who's retired military, she's like, basically, you want to identify like a safe place for you and your family to go to meet up at. Like, so if your children, you got school age children, communicate to them a place where you want them to be if things go left and things go crazy, where they know, okay, I know I need to be over here because mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever, they are going to come and pick me up over here. Y'all see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times things get chaotic. Things get chaotic. So it's not that moment to really just be stopping. And y'all come on in. Good morning. Hit the like button. When things get chaotic, you can't just stop in that moment and start trying to put a game plan in place. What they say, it's too late by then. You have to have a game plan in place already, like a bug out bag. How many of you all know what a bug out bag is? A bug out bag is like this bag that you already have that has essential things that you will need in the event that you just got to grab and go. Ladies, you can think about it like your maternity bag. Now that I'm talking to you all, I'm thinking about, like, I've had 3 children where you have your bag, you're ready to go when you go into labor, and it has all the essential things that you're going to need while you're at the hospital. So bug out bag, just like that. So everyone in the house, it is encouraged to have a bug out bag. So you're going to have some clothes, underwear, toiletries, um, non-perishable food, batteries, chargers, flashlights, things like that. So it's encouraged for everyone to have like something like that. So the family friend was like, yo, like, listen, right now, what is late, but it's not too late. It might be late for you to be trying to dig a hole to build a whole bunker underground, but it's not too late for you to meet with your family members to identify this place where you all can meet up when things go left. Also, I will add, it is recommended for you to have some cash on hand. Things been a little funny in these banks. I've been hearing stories about people saying, hey, I try to go to the bank, take out, some money, and the bank is not allowing for me to do a withdrawal. And we're talking about money that's not, that's maybe under $2,000, couple of hundred, enough to pay a car note. So right now, I would recommend you have the bug out bag, which is your overnight bag, one for you and everyone in the house, and you to have some cash on hand. So if things go down, the grid goes down, power goes out, you have something. Like, these are the times that we're in. So as I've been just kind of peeping what's been taking place, just different ideas and thoughts have been running through my mind. Things that I've just been hearing about really since the pandemic, really. Things just been funny ever since, 2020. It just ain't been the same. It's just been real different out here since 2020. So that is when I would say I became probably more tapped in, and my sense of awareness grew, because it's like a lot of people kind of just woke up during that time. We were in the house, we weren't outside. So it was almost like that quiet time where you just had no other choice but to damn wake the hell up and really take a look at the reality of a situation. Whether it was your effed up job, your effed up relationship, like you really, it during that time period, starting from 2020 and on, it was like people really start doing these, these self evaluations. Like, damn, like, what am I really doing? Like during that period, I had locked my hair during that period. Like, it was just a lot of just change, growth, new sense of awareness. And here's the thing, you all, once you become awake, woke, you don't go back to sleep. It's almost like once you know something, you can't unknow it. So now that I've come to know a lot of ish, that's really what spearheaded, with me being on here and talking politics. I've been doing it for like a year on this channel, is because my sense of awareness became heightened. And once it became heightened, I had questions and I wanted to actually, have an open dialogue with people to learn what other people's questions or concerns were. Like, was my concerns in line with other people's concerns? It's one of the moments, am I tripping? Is it just me? Or is this world just straight effed up? Like, it was one of those, like, when you had it with an epiphany. And so once that happened, it was just like, it was only up from there. And my senses, someone mentioned seven sense, like it became more heightened. I became more tapped into spirituality, because I've said multiple times on this channel, welcome if you're new to my channel, the times that we are going through, and it's been this case for a minute, definitely since 2020. There is no man, woman, foe, whatever you want to call it, that can be our savior, that can save us. Every man is for themselves with what's going on. And what I mean by that is that your savior is going to have to come from within. It's going to have to come through a higher power. Remember, I said I'm spiritual. It's not going to be you relying on the Democrat Party to save you or the Republican Party to save you. Y'all let me know in the chat if you still holding faith that somebody wearing red and somebody wearing blue got your back. Let me know if in these times you feel like somebody waving the red flag or somebody waving the blue flag has your back. Because if you have not been able to read the room as of yet, that they don't, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Because it's very apparent to me every day that these politicians, the powers that be, they don't have the best interest of the American people. Hell, the drama centered around these files should tell you that. And people always wonder, well, why didn't Biden put out the files and whatever? And I've been saying the reason why is because both sides are in the files. So if the Democrats were to have put out the files, they would have been dry snitching on their own selves. So they're like, yeah, even though I don't like them Republicans, I can't put this out because shit, my cousin on there. Hell, I'm on there. My brother on there. My mama on there. You see what I'm saying? So you sometimes it be like that. How many of you have ever been in a situation to where you really want to just really wreak havoc on something, but you be like, nah, I can't do that because I'm about to get my own self caught up in it because, I was kind of over there for a little minute too. Oh, my brother was over there. So, nah, I can't really drop the dime on them like I wish I could because it's going to implement some people I care about or even implement my damn self. And that's how I always felt about when people would talk about, well, why the Democrats didn't do or whatever if Trump was in or whatever, because they in it too. Like, y'all, this stuff ain't rocket science. This that stuff that I'm talking about, the awakening when you can see things. When you can see things and it's so clear to you. But then as it's clear to me, I'm seeing how it's so not clear to so many people, which lets me know that there are still so many people who are still asleep. And it's sad. Because ain't no way in these times you should still be asleep, especially if you got children. Especially if you got little people who are dependent on you. See, what they say, grown folks can take care of themselves, but children, babies can't take care of themselves. So they rely on you to be able to peep game. They rely on you to do your diligence and do your research to get the most informed information instead of going off of what somebody said you should be taking and consuming. How about that? How many of you are have the habit of doing your own research? That just because somebody, when somebody tells you something, it is it's automatic for you to go see for yourself. How many of you have moved beyond the place of just because somebody tell you something, it ain't. it ain't wise to just go with that. Like, you need to question everything. I always say, no matter what you hear me even talk about on this channel, go see for yourself, because it's nothing like going and seeing for yourself to make you a real believer. Because people can tell you all things all the time, they can tell you anything, but go research and do the things for yourself. Because when you do that part, when you do that, when somebody tries to come to you and tell you something different, you can stand 10 toes down that much harder, because you know for yourself what's true and what's not. You're not going off of what somebody told you. You went and saw for yourself. You experienced it for yourself. It's nothing like having just self-awareness, knowing that the way you move is because of you and not because somebody didn't told you how to move, how to think, how to act, how to feel. And I think a lot of times people get lazy and they don't want to go and do the work for themselves. But guess what? Those are the people who have been caught up in situations, who have drank the Kool-Aid. Because, well, I ain't go out to eat for myself, but my mama had said that, yeah, this is what I should be doing. Or daddy said, I should, you know what I'm saying? Like, we love our people, we love our family members. But that don't mean that the information that they give us is always the correct information. I repeat, we love our friends, we love our families, we love our pets, but it doesn't mean that the information that they always bring to us is accurate. I get information all the time from family members. But while I'm on the phone talking to them, they giving me information, I'm online Googling it, looking it up for myself. Because sometimes people don't have a good understanding of information. So they mean well when they're coming to bring information to you, but sometimes they are misinformed. They don't have the correct information. It's not the accurate information. So it's up to you to do your due diligence and do your research, so therefore you can correct them. How about that? It's not about having an argument with the person on being who's right or who's wrong. It's about making sure that the correct information is being circulated. And people don't want to do that. People are just lazy. Nobody want to do the work. Nobody want to do the work. Homework, honor students. If you're on my channel, welcome. Good morning. I affectionately refer to my subscribers as honor students. Why? Because we are lifetime learners. We're not sheep. We're not sheeple. We ask questions. I always say smart people ask questions. Never allow for someone to make you feel bad because you're asking questions. Anybody who's smart, who's deemed smart, who you even believe is smart, I bet you they ask questions, because how else are you going to get the answers? So, question. This is the question I want you to ask today. I learned that Chat GPT AI, was that Sam Altman? Is that his name? He has a contract deal with the government. So right now, AI is going to be intertwined with the government. However, I don't know the details as a how, but this just came out like over the weekend. I seen this right as before I left my home. So it was one of the stories that I was listening to as I prepared for this live. So you all go do your research. AI is now about to be intertwined with the government. And part of that is going to consist of, like, so with war, machinery, having AI, like robots and things like that, be a part of the whole war experience. So you can think about it from this way. Say, instead of having a human out there, you may have a robot out there. That's just an example. But they just signed a deal with somebody from that. I forget the name, Chat GPT, what the business name it is. But I think Sam Altman, I think that's his name. I think he's the CEO, the owner of it. But anyway, somebody over there stepped down over the weekend because they said they didn't feel right knowing that this AI was about to be inserted into the government. Look into that, you all. I say ask questions. Look into that. Are you here for the government using AI and possibly using it with surveillance maybe over you? Because also in this same news report I was listening to, they're like, hell, China already over here in these US streets using AI, so we might as well. It was like China is already over here using it. So it's quite interesting. So I didn't have enough time to really deep dive into it, but I wanted to just share this with you all so you all can deep dive, because this goes into that category, as I say, how smart people ask questions. We do our research and we become aware of things on our own. So therefore, we can form our own opinion about what's going on out here in these streets. And that don't go for just America. That's anyone. I have people who listen to me from all over the world. That's just anywhere you are. Do your research. Over the weekend, they said, I don't know if it was over the weekend, but there's another new update made to the chat GPT. So it's, I don't know if it's 5.4 now or something like that. I haven't checked it out because I haven't used chat GPT. I haven't used it in a minute like that. I hadn't really been doing content. Mostly, you all, when I do use it, it's centered around my content. If I'm trying to get a better understanding as far as what's going on in the world before I go live, so I can kind of help to kind of break it down and help you all to understand it, because I got to understand it first before I can explain it to you. So I hadn't been doing content on politics in a while. I took a break, mental health break. So I haven't been using chat GPT like that, but there is an updated version out there. So if you do use chat GPT, just know they have a new updated version out there that you can use. It's supposed to be the latest and the greatest. The latest and the greatest. But yes, they signed a deal with the government. So now they're going to be kind of intertwined with whatever the government got popping off. Now, whether or not you trust the government already as it is, that's between you and your government. AI is now about to be intertwined with it. Now, one of the, I don't know if she was a CFO, the lady I was listening talk about it, she was trying to convince the reporter that there was going to be some balance and it wasn't, AI wasn't going to be basically getting all into the people business, stuff like that. Lies and propaganda. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because I personally feel like surveillance, like these type of things have already kind of been happening anyway. Um, Probably just without the chat, the Sam Altman's product. So now he's like, yo, I can help you. Utilize my product with whatever you trying to do, and we go together make it do what it do. So that's what's going on right now. So that just came, that I think that deal, whatever, was announced maybe over the weekend. So it is here. AI being intertwined with the government. And so just be mindful and vigilant as far as with how that's going to impact your lives, because it will impact your lives. So don't be surprised they come knocking on your door talking about, telling you that they seen, they seen what you did last night. With that, like the movie, I know what you did last night, because with AI, with AI, it's literally you can run, but you can't hide. There's always eyes on us. And even with that being said, you all, I just feel like, everything right now is under surveillance. So it's hard for me to believe when stuff happens like outside that there wasn't some type of camera that saw something. You know what I'm saying? Like here in Georgia, there was like this young college kid probably like a month ago. Black kid, young guy, I think he was maybe like 20. He was found hanging from a tree, and about an hour outside of Atlanta, where he was a student at Georgia State. And I think he was found hanging in, I think it was Marietta. I think it was probably Marietta, Georgia, but he was found in a like a park, like a local, I don't know if it was a state park or just a community county park, but he was found hanging. So the last I knew, they were trying to put it on him, offing himself. So I'm gonna do a PSA right now to the people who don't look like me. Black folk, in particular black men, when they off themselves, if they choose to off themselves, they don't do it by hanging themselves from. Don't put that out there because somebody probably needed to hear that. Somebody probably needed to hear that. That ain't how we choose to get up on out of here. That's just not what we do. So they're saying, oh, well, he was seen walking in the park. You know, he was seen by himself, but that's it. But it's that stuff that I talk about to where I believe with all the cameras that we got, you all just pay attention when you're out and about in your day and just look up and just peep how many cameras there are. There are cameras everywhere. You mean to tell me at a state park, there weren't any cameras in the vicinity that picked up the activity that was taking place at that park? Who was coming and going at that park? Timestamps? Miss me with that. This that stuff I'm talking about. That stuff I'm talking about. So I feel like the government, law enforcement, when they want to utilize these cameras, they can. And really what brought that home for me, y'all remember, was that last year in the springtime, all those inmates that broke out of the prisons in Louisiana and New Orleans? And they caught a lot of them, I think probably all of them, they caught because of technology, surveillance. So you were able to catch them from these surveillance cameras, but all the times nothing, you ain't seen nothing. Like, this is just food for thought, y'all. So when the government, when the powers that be want to find you, want to know something, they're going to get their answers. Please believe that. When they want to figure some ish out, they gonna figure it out. Clearly they was motivated to figure out. Y'all remember when that actor Jussie Smollett said that he had got jumped by MAGA and beat up and all of that? They expeditiously solved that, figured that ish out, and concluded that those were lies. Why? Because there were reputations on the line. It was government centered. MAGA, that's Republican. It's like, wait a minute, hold up, Kimo Sabe. Wait a minute. You trying to put a stain on my group. We about to get to the bottom of this. You see what I'm saying? It's the motivation behind it. It's the motivation behind it. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother. Remember the older woman who was kidnapped? Child, what, she been gone for going on what, 2 months now? When the last time y'all seen coverage on a missing person case like that? I'm just saying, because I know in my community, we have people go missing all the time, especially children, black children. And it's just like water under the bridge. But with this woman, it is literally boots on ground, all hands on deck. President Trump said, listen, whatever y'all need, y'all got it. This woman wasn't no vet, no for military, no vet, from the military, nothing. Like, she's just a regular woman who is the mother of a journalist on TV. They still, from my understanding, ain't found a woman. Savannah and her went back to work this week. She back at work. The last I knew, she put up, like, I was out of town for business a week ago. So when I was out of town, I had learned that I saw that she had put up with saying that there was $1 million reward for anybody who could just lead them to just her mother. Because at this point, she's like, listen, I know mama ain't here with us. Mama then crossed over, but we just want to at least, bring her body back. But have you all taken notice, like the amount of attention that has been put onto this case? Why do you all think that? Why do you think that there was so much attention dedicated to this missing persons case opposed to any other missing persons case? This is what I mean when I say that law enforcement, they can it, they can solve cases, they can put attention on cases, they can do whatever it is that they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, if it's motivated by something. So I don't know what the deal is with this Nancy Guthrie situation, but the timing is quite interesting. The timing is quite interesting. This woman came up missing right around the time that the Clintons were supposed to testify. What was that? Who were they testifying before? Congress? They were supposed to testify. The first time they was a no-show. They didn't show up to testify. At the last minute, they reneged. They didn't show up. They did recently circle back and testify, but it is said that Savannah's husband allegedly, his business, there's a connection between him and what was taking place with these files. You know what I'm saying? There's a connection between him and that man that they trying to convince us that's no longer breathing, that offed himself in the prison. I don't even want to say his name because YouTube, they don't like when I say his name. They'll shadow ban. If you're familiar, if you've like been around for a while with watching my content, y'all know I can go very deep with information. I'll go very deep, but YouTube don't like that because they'll suddenly, you all won't be able to hear me. It'll start buffing. The next time I go live, I'll be shadow banned and you all don't even see that I'm live. YouTube don't like for me to talk about stuff. I gets to it. This channel has millions of views because I gets to it. I talk about ish that other people don't talk about it, and I get down to the nitty gritty. But sometimes I'll take a break. I'll take a break to woo-saw because it can be very heavy. It can be very heavy. But what I want you all to do is just peep game. Just pay attention to the things that are taking place out here in this world. Ask questions. Seek out answers because it can save your life. Don't dismiss things as conspiracy theories. Those days are over with. Damn near any crazy thing you hear about, child, I'll bet it's true. Like, these are the times that we're in, to where the craziest things is actually true. The craziest things are true. And it's just like, oh, MG. And the thing that's getting people caught up right now is like with that whole AI. Because y'all, it be stuff out there that's real, but people or the powers that be will try to push this narrative that, oh, that wasn't real, that was just AI. So that's why I'm like, you gotta do your research. You gotta do your research to really determine if something is real versus not. Because a lot of craziness out here, a lot of spooky things out here, they are real. And I personally feel like more people are starting to wake up. So it's not as much effort that's taken to convince people of things anymore. And I think for the powers that be, the government, that's a problem. I think that's a problem because they want you to just go off of what they tell you, to not think for yourself. They're like, don't worry about it. I got you. You don't need to think. I got you. I got you. Haven't I held you up all this time? And then you all think about how well you're doing. Like, have you really been benefiting from these people? Really, when you think about it? No. No, it's a lot going on. Um, Trump, I was listening to him speak this morning, and he said that this war will soon be over with. Y'all let me know. If you believe that, drop a one in the chat if you feel like this war is about to soon be over with, and drop a two if you feel like, child, please. We definitely getting to spring with this one. Like he said, it's almost over with. We're winning. We're winning. Like this is what he's saying. He damn near cussed the reporter out when they asked him about his thoughts about the reports of Russia giving intel to Iran. He done told the man it was a stupid. Y'all, I'm used to seeing him go in on people. Usually it's a woman. I had just heard him yesterday go in on a woman, told her she was damn dumb, and that's why she was in the third grade. So that was just yesterday. Today I heard him, a man asked, so, Russia, what are your thoughts, with Russia giving intelligence to Iran? He basically told that man, like, that was a dumb, you're normally a good reporter. I, normally like you, whatever, but that was dumb. I don't even know why you asked that. This is not even the environment to ask those things. So basically, he didn't want to have that conversation. Following him making those statements, there was confirmation from Iran, the prime minister. I think that was his title. He's the prime minister over there. Y'all seen that man during the interview? It's circulating around where they asked him his thoughts on American troops being put on soil, being put on land out there in Iran. And he had this little kind of smirk and basically said, yeah, I wouldn't advise that. He said, yo, we gonna be waiting on them. We're ready. Like they got that. Who was that? Bone Crusher. I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared. Like Iran has that Bone Crusher energy right now, y'all. If you don't know the song I'm talking about, type in Bone Crusher in YouTube. Never scared. Iran has this energy. And I believe that they are standing 10 toes down on their cause, especially after they've had babies lose their lives. To me, the energy that Iran is giving is that all my life I had to fight. This is what I've prepared for all my life. The day has come. You know how you see like in movies and when it start getting funky and they be like, y'all, like this is what we've been preparing for. We've been studying, we've been doing, like this is what I feel is taking place with Iran. All the preparation, all the things that they've done over the years, the long nights, the training, the drills, it was to have them to be prepared for today. So with that being said, I don't see them waving the white flag. I see them having the mindset of, yo, we're going to keep fighting until our last breath. And we, each of us, have made this commitment. This is what I see. I see the U.S., which they say, word on the curb, low key prompt them been trying to, want to have conversations about settling this, even though they're not going to kind of come out and say it. But this is what I'm hearing. The streets are talking. They're like, nah, they trying to have conversations with them. But Iran, like, F that. We don't trust you anymore. There's been, I think they Prime Minister said it might have been like 3 other occasions or something like that where they tried to talk, and then in the midst of conversations, the U.S. kind of slip in from the back door. So they were like, we don't trust you no more. So we're done talking. Like in my Willie D voice, no more talk. They're like, we're done. So I don't see this country waving the white flag. I see them committing to, yo, we're going to keep fighting until we have no more fight in us. And that will only be when we are no longer breathing. It would not be smart for American troops to go on ground there. I said at the beginning of this live, a big reason why Iran has an advantage is they're underground, you all. Iran is underground. They got these bunkers and things underground. So when you with them being underground, it's hard to Like they're protected, so bombing, missiles, whatever they're dropping, it's not reaching them. It's not reaching them. But they're saying, yo, you can think fat meat ain't greasy if you want to, and send your troops here, but don't say we ain't warned you. Y'all, the look in this man's eyes, the smirk on his face said it all. I know one thing, after that man said that, I ain't heard Trump talking about putting boots on the ground no more. I have not heard Trump talking about putting boots on the ground anymore. He done moved past that, because I think he got enough sense to know, like, yeah, this ain't what you want. Like, that man, they listen. If he didn't believe them before, when he saw that clip, he was like, yeah, we're not gonna do that. Let's just focus on staying in the air. Yeah, that would be best. That would be best. Did you all see over the weekend that Marine? I saw it yesterday. So I don't know if it took place over the weekend. I saw it yesterday where there was a Marine. I think he said his wife was from Palestine, but he was confronting, I think, some the politicians or a politician, and he was getting in his face and just asking them questions about, like, yo, why are we doing this? And then he even made it into one of the rooms, I guess, where the meetings and things were taking place, and they basically tackled this man to remove him from the room. And y'all, they say the Marines be the strongest and the crazy. This man made I already believed it anyway, but he really confirmed it. Y'all, this man was cutting up, like, he was vocal, but it was the strength that he had. It was like, it started out being maybe like two men trying to grab hold of him to remove him from the room. Child, they wasn't doing nothing. So then you seen maybe like another third or fourth one. It took maybe like 4 to 5 men to get this man, to get control over this one man. And while all of that was taking place in the back of the room, where the door for the entrance of the room, the politicians were just sitting there facing forward like robots, as though nothing behind them was taking place. Y'all, it was crazy. It was crazy. Y'all go look at it. So go type in like Marine snaps or goes off on politicians. It'll come up. He was in his suit and all. And the politicians were just like, they didn't even see it or know. Like, it was just bizarre. But it was just so sad to see a U.S. military person being treated that way, simply because he had an opinion. Y'all, this man was only speaking. He wasn't aggressive or anything like that. He was just speaking out loud, voicing his opinion, his concerns about what's taking place, the lives that have been lost, the lives that will be lost. And then they just didn't want to hear it. So they just wanted to just shut him up. So they physically assaulted him and removed him from the room. I personally did not feel that that was called for. It was not called for. None the least, it was not called for. But that's how they treated him, simply because he had questions. They wanted to shut him up. He had questions. Gas prices are high. Trump is saying in a couple of weeks they should be down. Gas prices are now lingering at about $100 a barrel. It was up to $120, I learned. But it went down, I guess, after the narrative started being put out there that the war and things are simmering down. I don't know what they basing that on. So it went from the $120 down to like $100. Did y'all see that there's been like oil plants and things like that over there, overseas, or in these countries that are blown up, and I think it's in Iran where I don't know if that's Iran or Israel, where there's oil just raining down on the people. So think about it, that's wasted oil. Where does our oil come from? And it makes me think about how the cost of oil, the cost of gas and things may rise because there's wasted oil just damn going up in the air. Y'all, it's a lot going on. It is a lot going on out here in these streets. It's a lot. I was listening to another content creator. He was reacting out. It was Mr. Lego, and he showed this video where people in Israel were on foot walking, leaving their country because Iran sent a message to them. I think they said that they sent the message through text message, sent a message to the people, said basically, yeah, you might want to go ahead and leave your country like right now. So I'm like, well, hell, I guess at least they warned the people because they didn't have to do that, but they warned the people, and they was like, yo, like, yeah, you might want to raise up out of, Israel, like right about now. So you seen in the video where a bunch of Israeli people walking through the desert to leave their country. Now, Israel is very small. I learned that it's like the size of New Jersey. So Israel is smaller than Texas. Like, it's a small country. It's very small. Um, Sleeper cells in the U.S. Y'all seen that the government, the U.S. government, they had over the weekend put out there that there is high alert of sleeper cells. So what I learned about that, you all, is that they ended up intercepting a communication from between Iran and I think it's called clandestine. They ended up intercepting a communication. So the communication that they intercepted was basically saying, yo, go ahead, release sleeper cells in all other countries. So that's how the US came to learn, about, the sleeper cells and them kind of being on go mode from that interception. Y'all, it's a lot going on. And some of this stuff I'm sharing with y'all might be new information to you. But I challenge you, any information that I share with you, go out there and do your own research to look into it for yourselves. Sleeper cells, they're everywhere. They're amongst us. Like, we don't know. You could be working on the side of one. You just don't know. So be vigilant as you're going out and about. You're going to these large events, these spaces. Like, if you don't have to go, don't go. There are still Americans stuck in Dubai and other countries. I hear that I think about 29,000 Americans have been brought back home, but also I'm hearing that there are even more who are still stuck. So I'm like, damn, how many people was living over there because, or even visiting? Because some people were probably just visiting. There's one lady whose videos I'd been following. She went over there for her 30th birthday to Dubai. So she's been stuck. I don't know if I know as of last week she was still over there. But she said that she had been kind of footing the expense of being over there on her own. But there was another family that I saw where they were, footing their expense, but some other friends who traveled with them had to set up GoFundMe accounts to help raise money. So therefore they would be able to, I guess, buy things while they're still away from home. Y'all, this is just a bad situation. I know I ain't saying nothing good to y'all. I promise you it wasn't intentional. I don't know. I mean, give me a minute. Let me see if I can think of something in the news that's positive. Let me think. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Mm, I don't have anything. Maybe the next live. I don't have anything. I do not have anything positive to report to you all as far as things that are going on in the US. It dang sure ain't the jobs. I know that. I think they said, I don't know, because I was just listening to something maybe over the weekend about jobs. There was like 96,000 jobs lost. So I'm thinking that was the report for February, because by the time I was listening to that, we were in March. So it makes sense that for the February numbers to be out. But I believe it says something about 96,000. So y'all can look into that too to confirm that number of what the job loss number is. But job losses are still taking place. So remember back to the chat GPT, and I was listening to like the CFO woman who's over there at that works with Sam Altman, and they asked her, I think I was listening to Fox. Fox was in, or Fox News, Maria Shriver, I think is her name. She asked her, she was like, so a lot of people are concerned about their jobs being taken as a result of AI. What are your thoughts? What do you say about that? And she was like, well, look at it this way, it'll just be some jobs and things that have been around. Maybe there'll be no longer a need, but there'll be the creation of new jobs. So she's like, okay, some of the white collar jobs, that we're used to working. She used for an example, like, chat GPT. And if you're sick, you can go to chat GPT, type in, your symptoms and things like that, and get information returned back to you just as good and reliable as the information that a doctor would provide you. So she was like, don't worry about those jobs that are going to be lost. Think about the new things that are going to come about, the new opportunities that are going to come about as the result of AI. So do as you will with that information, but that's what this woman said. She worked for AI, Chat GPT. But in the meantime, people are losing their jobs left and right. Job losses are taking place. Companies are closing their doors. Companies are selling. Companies are merging. Like, all of this type of activity is taking place just to stay afloat. Gas. They said you may be able to expect for ticket prices, like if gas continues to kind of go up, because it's expected that this week gas may go up by 30%. Gas may go up by 30%. Right now, the national average for, I guess, the unleaded gas is about $3.45 a gallon, whereas before the war, it was about averaging $2.98. So before I started this live, I got gas. I paid $2 and I'm sorry, I paid $3.16. It was actually originally priced at $3.19, but I think I got it at Shell's gas station, so I was able to get like 3 cents off. So I paid $40, and when I did the math on that, it was 12 gallons that I got for $40. Whereas pre the war, if I paid $2.95 a gallon, I would have gotten, it was 15, 12, 13, 15. I would have gotten 15 gallons. So I would have gotten an extra 3 gallons for that same price. So I just want to kind of do that math just to, put things in perspective as far as like the difference of, basically we're up 47 cents, 47 to 50 cents on average. That's how many cents we're up on the cost of gas per gallon since the start of the war. And it's continuing to grow, and it's expected for it to grow even more this week by, I think they said, about 30%. Some places have probably already seen that increase. For me, in my area, I live in Georgia, outside of Atlanta, about an hour outside of Atlanta in the suburbs. At the start of the war, uh, I would say, I think the war started that Saturday. At the start of the war, it was about $3.29 where I live. It was $3.29. So it's gone down by 10 cents. So it's down by 10 cents, which is good. But the reports that I'm hearing is that it's going to go up. So just be mindful. Just be mindful of that. Um, have you all seen that they've already positioned the new leader in Iran? That babies, basically they got baby Hellraiser in charge. They got baby Hellraiser in charge. So the former leader, what's his name? What's that man name? I know I wrote it down. It's his son. His son is leading. His son, he's I think he's 56. Kamani. How do you pronounce that? Kamani. So they asked Trump his thoughts about that because they asked him, would he want to try to take him out? And he didn't answer the question, but he did say that um yes. So Khamenei's son is, if I'm pronouncing it right, I might be pronouncing his name wrong. I think it's Khamenei. I think that's how it's pronounced. Khamenei's son is now the his replacement as the new supreme leader. He is the new supreme leader. Trump did not answer the question as to if they would want to try to take him out, but he did say that he was disappointed that the son was appointed as a new leader because he feel like it would just be more of the same of whatever that they were giving, whether that's good or bad. If you think that's good or bad, they were saying, he was like, it's basically business as usual. I'm hearing that they have the son hidden. Remember, I told y'all these people be underground. So I'm hearing that the son, Khamenei Jr., baby Hellraiser, whatever you want to call him, I'm hearing that he's been hidden underground for out of protection. He's been protected, which makes sense because hell, they didn't took out everybody else. So they're trying to hold on to him. They're trying to hold on to him, I guess, preserve his life because he the last of the Mohicans. Because I think Khamenei, the father, when he died, I think another son and a daughter-in-law and a grandbaby, like there were other people who also lost their lives at the time when he lost his life. And it's believed that his own people sold him out, that they was in communication with the CIA. It's believed that it was insiders who was like, yo, he over here. You ain't heard that from me, but that is what they're saying, is that it was an insiders because where it all took place, it wasn't information that was public information. You know how like certain elite groups, they'll have these private meetings and only the people invited know about the meeting. It was kind of like one of those things where only certain people, a small circle, would know that this meeting was taking place. So yeah, it's believed that it was insiders who basically was like, yo, yeah, he over there. So with that being said, I feel like as a country in Iran, and even with the underneath the new leadership, that should have them to feel very concerned, because 9 times out of 10 they don't know who said something. So now you kind of got to look at everybody with the side eye, because it's like information is being released and you don't know who's releasing it. Like, it's like an episode of Homeland. Love that show, Homeland. How many of y'all familiar with Homeland? Y'all remember that show on Netflix, Homeland? They need to bring it back with Crazy Carrie. Crazy Carrie gonna get down to the bottom of this. Can y'all imagine Crazy Carrie and Olivia Pope teaming up? Like these are the times we in, y'all. Like it's like a movie. It is like a movie, like a Netflix, like a good ass movie. Don't y'all wish that this was just like a series and I'm on here just and we just talking about the show, the last episode? Like, wouldn't it be better, safer if we were just reviewing a Netflix series and everything that I've been saying for the past 70 minutes have just been based off of a show? Scandal. Olivia Pope was on Scandal. Kerry Washington. Y'all remember Scandal? Everybody be tuned in, seeing what case, what Olivia Pope was going to get caught up in. Like, those were the good old days where, like, it was just in TV that this stuff that's taking place in real life, it was just made for TV. Those days are over with. Again, that's why I say, like, there's no one, no person coming to save us. Every man's for themselves. We are living in times where you have to go within. You have to turn to a higher power, whatever that may be. But you have to find peace within, because there is no saviors on the outside in the physical form, in the 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever you want to call it. They're non existent. It doesn't exist. It hasn't existed for a long time. And it's the reality of the situation. And you may be saddened to hear that and not like when I say that, but it's the truth of the matter. It's the truth. So you have to kind of come to the come to the grips, like come to what do I want to say? You have to come to accept the reality of the situation and figure out how to make it do what it do. How to cope, how to emotionally cope, how to psychologically cope, how to woo-saw, whatever, because what it may take for you to get to a better place mentally, emotionally, it may take something different for the next person. So you have to figure out what that is, whether it's disconnecting from the internet, whether it's taking walk, going to the park, taking a walk, whether it's reading a book, whether it's turning off of the news and maybe watching a movie, tapping into something that is, centered around La La Land, where you're able to kind of momentarily kind of disconnect and take a step from your reality. You just got to figure out what works for you. But everything is about balance. You have to balance it all. So when things start to feel heavy, you got to balance it all by saying, you know what, let me kind of take a step back from this and do that. Let me do this over here. I haven't painted in a while. I like to paint. I like to dance. I like to make music. I like to sing, because it's a lot. Because doing that will have you to kind of regroup, recalibrate. So therefore you can kind of get your strength up and come and get back in the game. That's what it's about. Because many of us still have children that we're responsible for, that we're still taking care of. So if you're not good, your children aren't going to be good. Those who depend on you aren't going to be good. So self-care is important. You got to take care of you first before you can be good for anybody else. Kind of like, I like to use the analogy of the airplane where they say when things go left, you put your you put your mask on first, and then you help your neighbor. You got to take care of you first. I was seeing also this morning on the internet that in particular here in Atlanta, how it's crazy at the airports, because y'all, even with all of this that I'm saying, with this what we wish was a movie, There is a government shutdown, a partial government shutdown. There are still people who are working and not getting paid. Y'all, I be forgetting that because it's so much going on. The TSA workers are still not getting paid. So right now they were like, it's chaotic, like at the airports where people are there going through the process at through the TSA and all of that, upwards of 3 hours, because it's not enough workers. They haven't been paid. I want to say, I don't know if it was maybe February 28th, sometime in February. But with everything that's been going on, I was like, I forget that that's even a thing. It's just sad, y'all. It's too much. It's too much. It's a lot going on in this world, not just the American streets, in this world. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Check on your people, check on your loved ones. Make sure they're good, because a lot of people are not good. You seeing people on the internet spazzing out, crashing out, whatever you want to call it. It's just, it's a lot going on. People are not well today. A lot of people are not well. Understandably so. Understandably so. Only the strong can survive. And I have a daughter, my youngest of my three kids. My daughter's 16, and I was just talking to her last night, about just the world and everything that's going on. And some of the things I was saying to her, kind of shook her up. And I just told her that the thing about life is that you really have to lean on the things that you've learned along the way. So, children, as children grow, a lot of times, we all can relate to when we were younger and our parents, elders were saying certain things, and you didn't think you were taking it in. But then later in life, when you start going through some things, you start reflecting back on some of the messaging. So is your subconscious taking it in? So what I was telling my daughter is that when she gets out in this world in 2 years, when she's off at college and she's navigating through this world, she is going to have to fall back on her teachings, on the things that me and her father and grandparents, aunts and uncles, the things that we taught her. Because we don't always have the answer. It is impossible to go through life and not run into some hurdles, not experience some hardships, but you can get through it. You have to just lean into your teachings. So I told her all these things that we've been teaching her. She's going to have to lean into those things. I told her she'll be fine. I said, listen, if I was fine, you will be fine. That's any of you. We have to stop, take a deep breath, woo-saw, and just remember we got this. And it's important now more than ever to believe in something. Believe in something that's bigger than man, because that is what's going to get us through it. The energy. Energy is real. I'm big on energy, positive energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. You have to get on an energetic frequency that is positive. And all this information is out there on the internet for you to learn more about just energy, your vibration level. It's real. Right now, our planet is operating at a low vibration level, which is why we're seeing all of this madness take place. We have to raise the vibration on this planet. What do you ever hear they say there's strength in numbers? So it's going to take for a mass number of people to have the common goal, the common thought process, the common desire to want to raise the vibration level. We all have to do it simultaneously. So as you're navigating through your day, think about how you like to see things be in this world. So if people as a collective can do that, we can make that happen. That's like legit. That's how it works. It's everything is energy. Thoughts become things. Remember, thoughts become things. What you think about most is what manifests in your life. Just think about now, like what consumes most of your thoughts. More than likely, what consumes most of your thoughts, you're seeing it play out. Like if you being concerned about not having enough money to pay your bills consume most of your thoughts, more than likely your situation is you struggle to pay your bills. That's where your thoughts are. Thoughts become things. So you have to think about the outcome you want, not the outcome, not the negative outcome that you don't want. You got to think about like what you do want. It's like the Jedi mind trick. It's like you just got to do like the opposite. Because when you're thinking about things when it comes to energy, it doesn't view it as good or bad, like with your thoughts and things. It just is. So if you think about something bad, it's going to give you that. If you think about something good, it's going to give you that. You see what I'm saying? Like, because it doesn't decipher what's good or bad. It just goes with where your thoughts are. Because your thoughts is going to align with a certain vibration. So if your thoughts are negative, it's going to align with the negative vibration. If your thoughts are positive, it's going to align with a positive vibration. So we have to be very conscious about our thoughts. Remember, lesson of the day. Lesson 2, thoughts become things. So be mindful of your thoughts. If you find yourself thinking a negative thought, stop, shift, and switch that thought to something else that's positive. And it's just like anything, practice becomes perfect. So like the more you do it, you just kind of got to do it. And that's just, any of us. I think we all can be guilty of sometimes having like a negative thought, but it's about, are you sitting in it? Because a negative thought can come to mind, but the question is, are you sitting in that negative thought, or realize or come to see or understand that, okay, wow, I'm thinking negatively. Do you pivot awareness? So that's becoming more aware of just how you move. You have to become, that's I guess you can call it self-awareness. You have to become self-aware. When we're self-aware, we're cognizant of our thoughts, our behaviors, all of that. I've arrived. Come things. And even myself, even though I'm aware of these things, I still have to remind myself of these same things. Just like I put this information out to other people, I still have to remind myself that thoughts become things.